What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Friday lunchtime. It's the Chelsea versus Manchester United press conference. Erik ten Hag spoke to the assembled media at Carrington just minutes ago. I'm actually a bit early. We were scheduled to go live at 12:15, but the press conference was short, sharp, just how we like them. Erik ten Hag, clearly the world was watching. Manchester United fans were watching. The eyeballs were on him. How was he going to react? He was obviously going to get peppered with questions about Cristiano Ronaldo, about the incident on Wednesday night, about his handling of the incident after Wednesday night. Yesterday, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo being dropped from the squad, being fined 2 weeks' wages, as reported by Samuel Lutkes, being forced to train with the under-21s, and then by himself doing individual training. So how was Erik ten Hag going to manage all of that? And I will say from the outset, first of all, smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. Be sure to share the stream as well, because we're a little bit early, but I just wanted to get to this as soon as possible because I think Erik ten Hag, the Manchester United manager, my manager, your manager, our manager, has handled that absolutely brilliantly. In terms of a press conference, I think Erik ten Hag, I'd give that an A+, a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, however you want to grade that, a distinction, a first. I think Erik ten Hag has handled that absolutely brilliantly. I think the way that he has managed this Ronaldo situation in terms of the discipline, the punishment, dropping him from the squad, finding him, training with the youth players is fantastic. But also, that was a really, really, really difficult press conference, and some questions he was asked there, depending on how he responded to them, could have been perceived many different ways. And I think he did a real excellent job. It was no nonsense, simple answer. He did indeed confirm that Cristiano Ronaldo refused to come on Wednesday night, refused to be a substitute in the match prior to him exiting the stadium. He confirmed those details that had been widely reported, and he explained his reasons. He explained why he's handed out the punishment he has. He explained how he has to maintain the culture, the standards, the discipline for the players throughout the entire squad. And again, we'll get into the quotes, we'll get into the answers, we'll dissect them as we always do here in the press conference reaction. But as I mentioned, I think that Erik ten Hag did sensational. In terms of that, that's a tough press conference, and that can be a press conference that really defines how you're going to be perceived by your squad. Because it wasn't just us watching. Make no mistake, it's not just us watching, and it's not just opposition fans, it's not just the media watching. The players would be watching that as well. They've seen how Ronaldo's been disciplined internally. They've seen that, and they've probably spoken about that. But make no mistake, they were watching that press conference as well. They were watching that press conference totally, and I think that ten Hag managed that absolutely brilliantly. He stamped his authority on it, and I know that with the Ronaldo thing, people will have Ronaldo fans, whatever, they'll have their own opinion on it. But I thought Erik ten Hag absolutely managed it excellently. So I think that's a credit to him for, again, managing a really difficult situation. So let's get into the questions. Let's get into the answers. Of course, smash like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club too. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat as well. You get your badges, your emojis, your exclusive members-only content, access to the back catalogue of UV Raw, a behind-the-scenes look at the day-to-day goings-on at United View. You're also going to get access to future episodes as well, which there are plenty coming in the near future, and you get your priority chats in the chat as well. For instance, I can get a priority chat up right now from Fernando, who's been a member for, I think, over 3 months with the blue badge, and has got the Owen and KG emoji. Yes, there's multiple KGs emojis, ones with hair and without of it as well. So the questions first came from Simon Peach, obviously starting off about Ronaldo. Said, of course, there was that statement released by Manchester United. How did the conversation go between you and Ronaldo when you gave him the news that you were going to be disciplining him and he would be training with the under-21s? How did it go? And will he be able to play a part moving forward? And Ten Hag said, quote, what the talk, if you ask about that, is between Cristiano and me. The statement is also clear, I think. He remains an important player in the squad. So essentially he's saying, look, I'm not going to say what I said between myself and Cristiano Ronaldo, which is only fair, and he's always done that before. He's always said when it comes to conversation between players and the manager, he's never going to say that to the press, and he shouldn't say that to the press. As he mentions, the club's made a statement. The club's put out there the information they would like to be put out there, and the statement's very clear on that. And as far as has he played his last game for Manchester United, I asked this question to KG early this morning. Do I think he's played his final game for United? And most likely, probably not. realistically, there are still plenty of games to go in the next 3 to 4 weeks, particularly that Europa League game. I saw Rob Dawson from ESPN did report that Ronaldo could be in contention to play Thursday against Sheriff at Old Trafford, which I guess is certainly a possibility, and we're still light up front anyway. So I probably hasn't realistically played his last game. And to be honest, in terms, even if he has, actually, let's face it, even if he has played his last game for United, which I don't think he has, Erik ten Hag has always, in the media, always backed his players. He's always backed Cristiano Ronaldo publicly. He's never thrown any of his players under the bus. He's always spoke positively about them. He's always said that players are part of the plans and he's happy with their performance. So I don't expect that to change at all. So I don't think that would alternate even with this transgression either. And as far as the conversation between the player and the manager, of course he's not going to go public and talk about that either. Now, the question was then put to Erik ten Hag by Simon Stone from BBC Sport. Did Cristiano Ronaldo refuse to play on Wednesday? Did he refuse to come on as a substitute against Tottenham? And simply, Ten Hag said yes. So confirming those reports that were put out there, it was put out there. You have to give a shout out to, I think it's Chris Wheeler from Mail Sport, and then Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, and other people that did report that at the time. Erik ten Hag, if you are just joining us, confirming that Cristiano Ronaldo did refuse to come on as a substitute against Tottenham, which again is really disappointing. You know, I don't understand, and maybe I'm wrong on this and maybe I'm missing something, but I don't understand when people go, well, the disrespect to bring on Cristiano Ronaldo for 5 minutes left remaining, or 2 minutes remaining, or whatever it may be. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are or what you've achieved, what you've done in the past, whether you're the greatest player of all time or the worst player of all time. When you're asked by a manager to come on, regardless of what point in the game, to support your team, to support your teammates, to assist the club, to come on for the fans, you do your job. That's what it is. You do your job. And if that is embarrassing to you and you don't like that, or you feel disrespected, take it up with the manager after the game. Take it up with the manager after the game and say, hey, I felt disrespected with that. I'd rather you didn't bring me on. But don't refuse to play. Don't down tools. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the amount of criticism we gave to the Manchester United squad last season for downing tools when they played. These players have downed tools. They're not trying anymore. What's the difference? There is no difference in that. If the gaffer tells you to come on, as it's put here by Amit, it doesn't matter if you're coming on at the first minute or the 91st. If the gaffer says you're on, you're on. That's it. I mean, you know, I can't wrap my head around why people say, oh, you'd be in the same position, or I'd be the same. Come on with 2 minutes remaining. You do your job. That's it. And I don't. I can't wrap my head around that bit. It must be said, you know. And again, if you felt embarrassed, but look, I'm sure Ronaldo feels embarrassed by this entire situation. I don't doubt that for 1 second. I don't doubt that Ronaldo's embarrassed when he has to line up on Thursday nights and then the Europa League music plays. I don't doubt he's embarrassed when we've had some of the biggest games of the season against Manchester City, against Liverpool and Arsenal, and he starts on the bench. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt all of last season when he was playing, but we still finished sixth, that he was embarrassed because his standards are really high and he's always achieved a ton in his career. But ultimately, you didn't get your move in the summer. It didn't happen. You have to remain professional. You still have to set a standard. In the same way, the manager has to set a standard, so do the senior players. And unfortunately, in my opinion, I know not everyone's, but in my opinion, Cristiano Ronaldo let himself down, his teammates down, and the club down when he refused to play. That's just the biggest no-no. It's the biggest no-no in football. You can't refuse to play. That's it. That's it. You know, you help the team how you can. And you do what the manager tells you to do. Even if it's the same in everyday life as well. If you've got a boss, everyone's had them, when you work for bosses and you can't stand him. I hate working for this guy. He's a pain in the ass and he's rude and he doesn't understand and he doesn't motivate the team, whatever. We've all had those bosses, but you still do your job. And then if you've got a problem with them, afterward, you take it up with the boss, or you go home and you piss and you moan to your friends and family. That's what happens. That's it. Football's no different in that regard, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done in that regard. So to have the manager have to confirm publicly that one of his senior pros, a high-profile player like Ronaldo, refused to come on as a substitute, irrespective of what minute it was, is not good enough. And my mind cannot be changed on that one. David with the super chat says, Ronaldo didn't even apologize in his statement. I had to read it twice. We don't need this level of ego at the club. Well, if you do want the reaction to Ronaldo's statement, KG and myself did a morning show this morning, so you can check that out. That's still on the channel. So KG and I broke that down paragraph by paragraph. It was like reading comprehension all over again. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to smash a like as well on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right hand corner. See if we can get to 100 likes already quick after just a couple of questions. We're at about 70 odd likes at the moment, so let's see if we can get to 100. Next question was a follow-up actually from Simon Stone as well, and said, at the start of the season, you reacted against Rayo Vallecano in that pre-season game and saying it was important for players to stay to support their teammates. However, when it came to Cristiano Ronaldo not being brought on against Manchester City, you said Cristiano Ronaldo was different and you didn't bring him on out of respect for Ronaldo. Given that you've admitted that he's different, but you're still trying to maintain standards for all players, how do you manage that situation? Ten Hag said, quote, after Vallecano, I told him it was unacceptable regarding leaving early. But not him, everyone. This is the second time. There are consequences. There has to be consequences. It's important for the attitude and mentality of the group. I have to set the standards and values and control them. We miss him tomorrow, Ronaldo. It's a miss for the squad, but it's important for the attitude and mentality of the group. And now we have to focus on Chelsea at this moment. And that is important. And again, I think he's absolutely bang on. I think he's absolutely bang on. I think he's spot on in that regard. I don't see, as I said at the top of the show, as I said at the top of the video, I think that he's absolutely right, and I think he's handled the press conference and the questions, particularly that one, which is a really difficult question to answer. I think he's handled it perfectly. Because the question is, it's not the first time it happened. It's happened again in a more important game, in a Premier League game. Now, he's, first of all, when he refers back to that Rayo Vallecano incident, he said, yes, he did leave early in that one, but it was other people as well. I said a warning at the time, and I warned everyone at the beginning of the season, and I told them about standards and attitudes. I told them all about that, but it's the second time. If you do the same thing once and I warn you, and you do it again, there has to be consequences. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your what you've achieved. It doesn't matter the stature of player. It doesn't matter if you're the highest paid player at the club, which Cristiano Ronaldo is. There has to be consequences. And that's the manager's job as well, to manage the players, to manage the group, to manage the personalities, and to set standards and maintain them. That's what we want. That's what we want, right? That's what I find kind of baffling about this situation, is that we have been screaming, we have been begging in the last however many years about standards at Manchester United, about player attitudes, about player power, about no player is bigger than the club, about players disrespecting the club when it's social media posts or it's, behavior, whatever it may be. We've spoken about that so much, and we've wanted a manager that can control that. We've wanted a manager that sets standards and rules with authority and stamps his authority on the club, on the players. And now that he does it, that should be celebrated. That should be well done. It's a difficult press conference. It's a difficult situation. How difficult is this situation put him in? He's only been in the job 3 or 4 months, and his start was a bit rocky after those 2 defeats. So he's got all of this going on in the background as well. And I think, again, he's handling it really, really well. As he mentioned, there has to be consequences. And it's important for the entire group. He had to react to this and manage this the right way. As he said, for the entire group, not just for Cristiano Ronaldo, not just to send a message to him that the behavior is unacceptable, but to send a message to every other player. You can't do that. We are a team. We are one. We are united, as Ronaldo said in this statement. And that's, what is frustrating, because against Tottenham, that was the best collective performance we've seen in a really long time by Manchester United. Yes, there were individuals that were excellent. Fred, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, etc. Martinez, Varane, you name them. There were so many fantastic performances. But the collective, the group, was outstanding on Wednesday night. And it's important to maintain that team spirit. It's important to maintain that cohesion that we've got in the team right now that we haven't had in a long time. And to maintain that, if it means when a player does step out of line, which what Ronaldo has done, then he has to manage it, and he has to stamp his authority on it. There are consequences, as he said. It's not the first time as well. Now, in terms of a reaction, he was asked, Ten Hag, what do you hope the dropping of Ronaldo will achieve? Will Ronaldo change? Will he apologise? Has he apologised? What do you think Ronaldo's reaction to all of this will be moving forward? Ten Hag said, quote, it will have a reflection for him, but also for everyone. I said at the start of the season, next time there has to be consequences. Otherwise, when you are living together and playing together, football is a team sport and you have to fulfil certain standards. And again, I can't agree with him anymore. I can't. As he mentions, it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. And you have to maintain standards. And to his point, I think it's important that he's sort of stressing this here. This isn't a witch hunt. And I know that some people on social media will try and portray it as such. Oh, you're singling out Ronaldo, or Ten Hag singling out Ronaldo. No, it's not. Again, Erik Ten Hag is not singling out Cristiano Ronaldo, because in the first instance, in pre-season, he was very much keen to stress, and he did it again today. Yes, Ronaldo left against Rayo Vallecano, but other people did as well. He's not singling out Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano Ronaldo, again, had that transgression on Wednesday night, and he had to be punished for it. As he mentioned, it's not the first time. If I tell you to do something once and you don't do it, and you step out of line again doing the exact same incident, then you're left really with no choice. And again, we've spoken so much about player power at Manchester United and how toxic the group has been at times. And I'm not saying Ronaldo's a toxic influence, because again, all of the reports this morning are that Cristiano Ronaldo has a ton of respect at Manchester United. The more senior players marvel at his professionalism and his ability to play to this high standard at his age. The younger players idolise him because he's Cristiano effing Ronaldo. Of course they do. But Ronaldo's not above any player in the regard of there are the standards and the rules set by the manager. If you step out of line, you have to be punished because of them. Nobody's above the club. That's it. That's absolutely it. And to his point as well, Ten Hag, we are going to miss him tomorrow. Of course we are. I don't think he would have started had this incident not happened. I think Marcus Rashford would have started again up front, because Erik Ten Hag likes to keep a winning side. And I'd be surprised if there are any changes. I think the biggest one is will Christian Eriksen come in? But we are going to miss Ronaldo tomorrow. Make no mistake, because we're a body light. And what happens if Marcus Rashford does pull a hamstring, or what Marcus Rashford does get injured, or Marcus Rashford just isn't playing well? We've got an option there we don't have. It's always great to bring on Cristiano Ronaldo. We brought him on against Everton and he scored a goal. So of course we're going to miss him. And as Ten Hag points out, we would have needed him tomorrow, absolutely. But if you don't follow the rules or you step out of line, you have to be punished because of it. And again, I think Ten Hag has handled this situation and the press conference today, which is lesser managers would have absolutely crumbled in that press conference. And it wasn't just his answers that was good. It was the way he delivered those answers. He didn't look out of his element whatsoever. He didn't look timid. He didn't look like he was intimidated by any of the questions that were to come. And he faced all of them. He answered all of them. And once we actually got onto the game, which we will get onto the game, it almost felt like he just brushed that Ronaldo incident aside. He answered all the questions. He was, transparent, and he was blunt, and that's exactly what he should be. So, again, I think he deserves a ton of credit. Now, the follow-up question to that for Erik Ten Hag was, how frustrating are you finding all of this? Again, kind of touching on, you had the best performance you've probably had all season. You said it was the most complete performance that Manchester United have done this season, and now you've got all of this background noise going on once again. How frustrating are you find this? And Erik Ten Hag, once again, didn't even say it's a frustration or anything like that. He said, quote, I understand there are questions, but at the same time, it's about Chelsea. We have a big game to play. My focus is on the game. The focus of the staff and the players is on that game. We have to win that game and have to have the concentration to play at our best. So at the same time, he could have come out there and completely moaned and said, oh, it's not ideal, or it's a distraction from the group. The group's distracted and it's a massive disruption to us. And again, that would be considered to be shade at Cristiano Ronaldo. No, he just said, well, I understand. It's an incident. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course there are going to be questions. If you thought that we weren't going to have to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo in this press conference reaction, then you're crazy. Because of course they're going to ask questions about Ronaldo. Of course, and I'm sure when he spoke to the press officer and his media team prior to doing that press conference, they said, look, all of the questions are going to be about Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, here's the statement. And frankly, the club's back in Ten Hag's stance. So that's why it was easy, really, for him to answer all of these questions, just because this isn't from the club. This isn't the club handler. This is Erik Ten Hag's vision of how he wants to handle this. This is Erik Ten Hag's discipline of Cristiano Ronaldo. This is Erik Ten Hag's punishment of Cristiano Ronaldo. So I'm sure he'd have no issues in saying to the press what's happened, why it's happened, and the thought process behind it. Because he said in his very first press conference, Flex loves this comment. He loves this quote. I can look any player in the eye and tell them my decision and the reasons behind it. And Cristiano Ronaldo is no different. And the press certainly is no different. Why did you do that? Why have you punished Ronaldo? Is it difficult, etc., etc.? And his response is no. I understand there are questions, but at the same time, it's Chelsea. And it does somewhat overshadow tomorrow's game because the discussion point and the build-up to it is going to be dominated by Ronaldo walking out of the stadium and by Ten Hag and Manchester United's reaction to it. But you can't overlook that this is a huge game, a massive game. If we beat Chelsea tomorrow, you're looking at 2 top 4 rivals that Manchester United would have got 6 points out of back-to-back games. That is incredibly impressive and real progress for Manchester United. It's going to be challenging, but if we beat Chelsea tomorrow and we beat Spurs at Old Trafford, and obviously we beat Arsenal and Liverpool at Old Trafford earlier this season too, you would say, well, of course, top 4. Absolutely, it's on. Why not? It's going to be a really, really tough game. And again, it does get somewhat overshadowed, but pressure makes diamonds, as they say. Sometimes in those moments, if you can manage the scrutiny that is on you at the moment, and to be honest, I would think when it comes to the players, maybe they might actually feel somewhat relaxed because the pressure isn't on them. The people, the press and the media and social media is not talking about any other players at the moment. They're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, a player that's not going to be playing. So maybe in some perverse way, actually might help Manchester United because they're not talking about them. And even if they put in a poor performance, they'll be, they were distracted by Cristiano Ronaldo, this, that, and the other. So maybe it will help United. I don't know. Now, the follow-up question, and be sure to smash a like on the like button, by the way, guys. We've got nearly 600 people watching. How many likes have we got? Let's do a like check. 132. We can do it. You can do better. Let's get to at least 150, maybe 200. Let's set the standards high. 200. Let's be like Ten Hag. Let's set standards here. Let's set a culture. The culture's 500. The standard is 500, but let's get to 200 or 250. We can do it. We're in this together. We're like Manchester United. We're in this together. We're a team here at United View. Then follow-up question after saying, is it frustrating, was, do you find it difficult to focus on the game? Do you find it difficult, or the players find it difficult to focus on what's going on at the moment or the game ahead because of all of this noise surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo and because of the incident on Wednesday? And again, Ten Hag kept it very simple. He said, I think that is part of when you play in top football. There's always noise, rumours, and you've got to focus, which is true, which is absolutely true. If you're at Manchester United, whilst you maybe don't expect the noise and what happened on Wednesday to happen, you expect an element and a level of professionalism, and you expect your teammates, again, to stay for the entire game and not leave the stadium. Unfortunately, it is part of professional football. It is part of elite sport that you always do have scrutiny. You always do have rumours, whether it's about people's future. Is this person going to leave? Are they going to stay? This person doesn't like that player. This person doesn't like the manager. That person doesn't like this person of the coaching staff, or this person said something on social media or whatever. There's always dynamic, and there's always, as he mentions, noise, and there's always rumours, and there's always stuff to distract a player, especially in modern day top flight football. There's so much scrutiny and there's always so much going on. They are big personalities because we're talking about, football players that are worth millions and millions of pounds and have had huge transfers and have entourages and agents and all that kind of stuff. So there's always something to distract players. The best can park it, the best can focus, and despite the noise, focus on what they need to focus and deliver when it's most important. And again, I think with Ten Hag, it's about establishing that culture that, especially at a club like Manchester United, where there is so much noise, where there is so much scrutiny, and there is so many different dynamics and different stories and drama going on and off the pitch every single day, the best players are the players that can adapt, that can focus, particularly for those big games. That's why you need your senior pros. That's why you need people like, I thought Casemiro on Wednesday was absolutely superb, and we saw big game Casemiro show up. My hope is tomorrow that big game Casemiro shows up again. Casemiro at Real Madrid, the reason we were so excited when he came to Manchester United and we purchased him in the summer is because you don't watch Real Madrid week to week, certainly I don't, but you watch them in the Champions League, or you watch them when they're in Champions League quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, or cup finals, or El Clasicos, and that always felt like in those big games, that's when someone like Casemiro showed up, big game Casemiro. Same with Varane, Champions League Varane. That's when you need your senior pros to show up. Particularly in those big games. They're the ones that are the best at, again, shutting out the noise, focusing on what needs to be focused on. And that's winning the game and then moving on. The rest of the stuff, the rest of the noise, that can happen once the full-time whistle has been blown. But once you're in that proximity of the game, it's all about that. It's all about the 3 points. It's all about sending the fans home happy and moving up the table and achieving things and winning things. So, again, that's part of being a professional footballer, especially nowadays. Gosh, how much noise is there nowadays with everything that's going on with social media. So, I totally agree with Erik ten Hag there. The follow-up question, now we start to get into the game, thank God, was so far the best results for Manchester United against your top 6 rivals have come at Old Trafford. Are you ready to have a match away from home against the top 6 side? Are you ready to sort of carry over those performances we have seen at Old Trafford against your top 4 rivals? Again, the only top 6 or top 4 rival we've had away from home was City, and we got absolutely battered. So can Manchester United carry these impressive home performances over to away games against these top of the table rivals? And Ten Hag said, quote, "For me, it's never an issue away from home. The pitch is the same size, 11 versus 11. There is a ref, and we always have a lot of support from our fans. We feel strong." And look, I somewhat disagree with him there. I somewhat disagree with him there because there is clearly a different dynamic between playing away from home versus playing at home. Old Trafford, especially in those big games this season, has been bouncing. Absolutely bouncing. And I remember the Liverpool game, the noise at Old Trafford that day was absolutely incredible. And it was the same with Arsenal. You go back and watch those highlights, the stadium explodes when they get the goals. And it was the same against Spurs because the crowd and the fans were enjoying what they were watching. They were like, this is progress. This is a manager that can achieve things at this club. Already we're seeing a style of play come in. We're seeing attacking football. Yes, it was against a really defensive side in Spurs that didn't do all that much, but there was clear progression there, absolutely. And you don't necessarily get that away from home. The fans, the away travelling Manchester United fans are excellent. They're the best in the world, the best away travelling fans. You put Manchester United travelling fans against anyone, because regardless of how many there are, and we always sell out our allocation, even if it gets cut, like it did for the Chelsea game tomorrow, but we always sell it out and they always make a ton of noise. But obviously, in certain stadiums, there's going to be a hostile atmosphere, and I'm sure the Chelsea fans, they'll be right up for it tomorrow. So you have to manage that. You have to manage that pressure. But to Ten Hag's point, you have to almost block it all out. You have to block out the pressure from the fans. You have to block out the noise and focus on the fundamentals, which is it's still just a game of football. It's 11 versus 11. There's you have to manage the situation and you have to put in the work. Stick to the principles, stick to the rules, as Ten Hag would say, give 110%, and then believe in your quality that you can deliver. And to his point, he said at the end, we feel strong. I felt strong. I felt really positive about this Manchester United side coming out of the game on Wednesday because I thought we were brilliant. And I felt like, well, if we played like that against Chelsea, yeah, we can beat Chelsea. Of course we can. I don't know if we're going to set up like that. I don't know if we're going to be a bit more on the counter-attack. I don't know if he's going to amend the way he's going to play because he's already played against Graham Potter this season. We'll touch on that in a second because he was asked about playing Graham Potter once again. But if we play like we did on Wednesday, we've got a really good chance of getting a positive result from Stamford Bridge. And that's really the next step, isn't it, for Erik ten Hag? We need now that big away victory. We do. We've had these really impressive and exceptional victories at Old Trafford against big sides, against Liverpool, against Arsenal, top of the table Arsenal, which most teams you're looking at going, Arsenal, they'll just roll over them, and they have. It's the only team to get anything off of Arsenal this season is Manchester United. That's an impressive feat in its own right. But the next step, I think, is getting that big positive away performance with that big scalp away from home, a big 3 points to say, actually, you know what, Erik ten Hag is doing something really impressive here. So that's the next step for Manchester United, and hopefully that's the time to do it tomorrow. Now, the next question was a really interesting one, actually, because this isn't the first time we faced Graham Potter this season. Of course, we faced Potter at Old Trafford on the first day. Well, the first game of the season wasn't the first day, but the first game of the season against Brighton, and they beat us 2-1, and it was comfortable. Brighton absolutely dominated the game. I thought they were excellent, and I thought Manchester United were really poor. So the question was to Ten Hag, what is it like facing a manager you've already faced so far? And Ten Hag said, well, it's nothing. It's a different game. It's a different team. There are different players. We ourselves are further on in the process. He says, I now know more about him, that maybe he had an advantage earlier on this season in that he knew more about me and he knew more about Manchester United and he knew more about the Premier League than I did. But now I've been in the UK longer. I'm in the Premier League longer. And he said, now I know more about him. He said, quote, now I know more about him. And maybe in the first game, he knew more about me, Manchester United. But it's not a fight between managers. It's a fight between teams. And that's the key thing. Once again, circling it all back, Erik ten Hag. It's not about me as an individual. It's not about any individual players in the team. It's about just that, the team. It's always about the team. The team comes first. It's not... when we win a game, it's not Erik ten Hag was a genius, Erik ten Hag did this. No, it's Erik ten Hag's team was excellent. And that, again, was the biggest positive for me coming out of Spurs. I repeat myself, and it's probably annoying because I've said it a million times since Wednesday, but that was the key thing. I came out of the game going, that was such a good team performance. Even if we want to break the team down into sections, the team of the defence, the back five, really, really, really good. Martinez, Varane, Shaw, Dalot, De Gea, that back five, absolutely solid. The midfield team of Casemiro, Fred, and Bruno, if he dropped back in, excellent. The attacking options, I think that was actually maybe some of our weakest part again. But I thought we did well. I thought Anthony did really well. I thought Rashford was unlucky. I know people said Rashford couldn't finish. I thought Hugo Lloris made some really good saves. Sancho was a bit quiet. But the team is most important. It's not about the manager. It's not about individual players. It's about the team. It's about the collective. It's about the group. And that's what's most important. No player is bigger than the team. No player is bigger than the club. No player is bigger than the manager as well. Now, finally, the last question to Erik ten Hag was about the fantastic support, as I touched on earlier, that he's seen at Old Trafford. You've had 3 big home league victories against your top 6 rivals. How does it compare to Holland, and have you been impressed by the fans? Ten Hag said, quote, it's fabulous to play at Old Trafford with our fans on our back. Great experience. Opponents don't like to come to Old Trafford, but I also like to play away games. The Premier League stadiums are fantastic. So praising the Manchester United support there. And as he should, the Manchester United support is always good. It's always excellent. It's always there for the United team. And again, just before we sort of wrap things up, once again, I just want to praise Erik ten Hag. I think that was such a difficult press conference, and the eyes of the world were on Ten Hag. The eyes of United fans, the eyes of the media, the eyes of opposition fans were saying, how is he going to handle this? Is he going to go on a rant? And it would have been very easy for him, and maybe other managers would have, maybe if this was Jose, maybe this would be a bit different, or Louis van Gaal, it might have been a bit different. You'd have had them come in and throw Ronaldo under the bus, and he didn't. He didn't do that. He did not come into this press conference and throw Cristiano Ronaldo under the bus and say, he's a disgrace, he's a virus, he's this, that, and the other. He just said that he did refuse to play. If you're just joining us, he's confirmed that Ronaldo did refuse to come on as a substitute. He has spoken to him. He's not going to say what he spoke to him about or anything like that. He's just said that the statement was clear, but was focused on the Chelsea game, and that's it. And he explained his rationale, saying that he's the manager. It's important that he maintains standards, he maintains the culture, and he controls the players. That's what he's there to do, to manage the team, to manage the group. And he's doing just that. And I think he deserves to be commended for it. And I think he deserves to be backed for it. We've seen that Manchester United, and we've heard the reports that Manchester United are fully backing Erik ten Hag when it comes to his stance on this Ronaldo issue. And I think the fans should as well. I can't tell you what to think, clearly. If you believe in your mind that Ronaldo's been disrespected, then that's your prerogative. That's your perspective on things, and that's what football's about. Different perspectives. I'm not going to sit here and call people names or say they're idiots or anything like that if they back Ronaldo. But I came out of this press conference really impressed by the Manchester United manager, my manager, our manager, because I think he handled what is a really difficult situation, a really challenging situation, and a tough one that has overshadowed the victory on Wednesday. It has overshadowed and will continue to overshadow the build up to tomorrow's game. I thought he handled that really, really well. And as I mentioned, we are going to miss Ronaldo tomorrow. Not that he was going to start, but it's always better to have Cristiano Ronaldo available on your bench than not have anyone else at all. Of course it isn't. We're going to be lighter because of it tomorrow. But I'm still positive, and I'm still, I won't say confident, but I'm still positive because I saw how Manchester United performed on Wednesday, and I thought we were absolutely excellent. So there you go, guys. That's the press conference reaction for you today. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Of course, we've got plenty of content coming up here at United View. Obviously, we've got the match view tomorrow. It's a 5:30 kickoff, so we'll be live at 5 p.m. at UVHQ to break down the entire game, react to the entire game. After the game, of course, we'll have all of the reaction from the entire team, Flex, KG, myself, you name it, we'll have it all covered. As far as what's going to come up in the remaining today and tomorrow in the build-up, we've got obviously the preview is to come, maybe some other stuff as well. You never know what you're going to get here at United View, so now's the time to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, click the notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we go live or a new video is posted. I'm out of here, have a great Friday, and I'll speak for you again very soon. Peace!